Some people say you should be investigated. During the early part of the civil war, the Sri Lankan government faced an uprising, as you know, from the JVP, a leftist group whose current leader is now the president. There was this government commission of inquiry that found that in the late 80s, you were, quote, a main architect of securing a housing complex that was used for the purposes of illegally detaining, torturing and killing individuals linked to the JVP. The government inquiry reported that you, quote, to say the least, knew it was being used for illegal detentions and torture while you were living and working there. You didn't know what was going on there? You weren't involved?
Where is the report?
Sorry?
Where is the report?
It's called the Batelanda Commission report.
So where is the report? Read from the report.
I just did read from the report.
You didn't read from the report.
It is quite clear from the available material that insofar as the securing and allocation of the houses at the Batelanda houses are concerned, the main architects had been the then Minister of Industries, Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe.
I deny all those allegations, and I'm asking you to quote that commission report. This is supposed to...
I just quoted it to you.
No, so where is that commission? Where had that commission report been tabled?
There's a lot of evidence in this report.
No, but it's not what evidence. There has to be a commission report.
There is a report. It's called the Batelanda Commission report.
There is no commission report. The commission report has to be tabled out.
Okay, but the report still exists, whether it's tabled in Parliament or not.
No, it's not tabled in Parliament, it's not report.
Okay. In the report, a key witness who was your caretaker and, quote, trusted employee testified that you were leading meetings about the torture of detainees there. He died. He was 36 years old. Just days before you testified to the commission, Vincent Fernando was his name, and he testified that you wanted the suspects at Batelanda, quote, destroyed. That's what he testified.
He never gave evidence.
He did give evidence.
No report was tabled. There was nothing to be found against me. That was an army camp that was established in a former housing scheme. Any case, that was not tabled in Parliament. There was nothing to be found against me.
Vincent stated that what he understood under the circumstances was that Mr. Wickremesinghe wanted the suspects destroyed.
I didn't ask if the incident was displayed by. I was not in the government. I was in the opposition. I've been in the opposition for 10 years. Look, there was no report. So you are quoting, if there's a report...
You were the Minister of Industry.
Look, but I'm telling you, there's no report.
I do have a report, but I've just literally read from it.
There's no report.
Let's bring in Francis Harris.
No,
former BBC correspondent. Francis, what do you make of what you're hearing about Batelanda? What is the lack of accountability from Batelanda, the civil war? What does it mean, in your view?
I'm flabbergasted. I mean, I have a copy of the report here.
Oh,
it says printed by the order of the government. I'm sorry, but there is a report.
It was not tabled in
Batelanda
Parliament
report, in English and Sinhala.
I mean, what you're hearing from former President Wickremesinghe is rather remarkable. What do you mean?
I think it's astonishing. I mean, I think his remarks about Shavendra Silva, the general he referenced, I mean, those are astonishing. To say that there isn't a case for Shavendra Silva to answer when the United States and the OHCHR, the UN, have made a case against him is utterly insulting to victims, and I think it just shows the impunity that he has supported. That's absolutely shocking. And we look basically at the JVP uprising time, the late 80s, where torture was endemic, where enforced disappearance happened on a massive scale, and we look at the connection between that and the civil war, and what the connection is that you see the same alleged perpetrators, and you might say also some of the same politicians who were involved in one era of violence went on into the next era of violence, and that's because there was never any accountability, because there was complete impunity, and this just is a cycle that repeats itself. And I'm afraid that somebody who's been in power that long needs to be answerable for that.
Isn't that the problem? No accountability.
Sorry, Francis, I was in the opposition. We've asked the government to prosecute me if there's something wrong, and they said there was nothing to be prosecuted on. I was here in London, I was in Oslo, and I was in Brussels, the time of the last 2 weeks of the war, trying to arrange to see what relief that can be given.